Internet critics absolutely leveled SpaceX CEO and billionaire who probably cut your job this week, Elon Musk, after another rocket spectacularly exploded today, this time temporarily halting flights into Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Orlando airports over space launch debris falling out of the sky. I don't know about you, but that sounds a little wasteful to me. And look, as a space exploration enthusiast, yeah, it kind of sucks to see another Starship go up and explode, though no people were involved. But I think we're all smart enough here to hold two things in our brain at once, right? We can mourn the tragic loss of what could have been the next great step in space exploration, while simultaneously enjoying America's unelected billionaire bureaucrat bitch boy get absolutely roasted by the internet for the umpteenth time this week. So if taking billionaires down a peg sounds good to you, then drop a like on the video and consider joining the right side of the class war by subscribing to Really American. And let's get into it. Now, before we watch the launch, the subsequent explosion, the debris falling, and then get into Elon getting roasted, just for some context, the SpaceX Starship rocket exploded during its 8th test flight today, and the blast happened shortly after the rocket had reached space, with the upper stage experiencing engine failures and tumbling out of control approximately 9 minutes into the flight, according to reports. Witnesses in Florida and the Bahamas shared videos on Musk's Twitter platform of rocket debris falling from the sky, and this explosion actually comes after a similar incident during Starship's 7th test flight back in January.
US federal regulators have cleared SpaceX to launch another test flight of its Starship spacecraft just weeks after the last one exploded 10 minutes after takeoff. The new test flight was planned for Friday, but has been pushed back to Monday. January's explosion over the Atlantic caused flight disruptions and scattered debris across the Caribbean. One environmental group says residents in the Turks and Caicos are still finding debris littering the waters and beaches more than a month after the Starship exploded.
Right, and that's not great for the people who live there, but this was today a similar story. And look, before we get into this, I am also not saying that any of the people at SpaceX are necessarily fully to blame for this. I'm sure a lot of them are great people and they shouldn't be ridiculed online just for working there, even though they may lose their jobs because Elon Musk is in a hissy fit. But Musk and SpaceX are kind of notorious for moving fast and breaking things, as is exemplified by this clip of all the debris just from today.
I just saw that Starship blew up. There it is.
Yeah, I don't know what's more apocalyptic, watching literal space debris fall out of the sky in balls of flame, or Elon Musk with a chainsaw in the federal government.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Yeah, maybe instead of using that on federal employees or your own workers at SpaceX, you should use it on your own wealth. Here's some footage from when it entered space and actually detached from the booster, which credit where credit is due, they actually did catch. Again, not really because of Musk, but probably the people that work there. But take a look at some of this, and then we'll get into Elon getting utterly destroyed.
So we're still getting video down from the ship. You can see we've lost several engines and we've lost attitude control of the vehicle. So we'll continue to stick with it.
For those of you that just recently joined us, we had a successful liftoff of the 8th test flight of Starship, followed by a successful stage separation. We saw the booster, actually, you can see it just behind us here. The booster had a successful catch back at the tower. Unfortunately, it seems as though we lost the attitude control of the ship.
And at this point, we've essentially lost contact with the ship. We're no longer receiving telemetry at this moment. So we were only about 20 seconds away or so from the end of that ship ascent burn. We saw several of the engines start to cut out. Once you lose enough of those center engines, you're going to lose attitude control. And so we did see the ship start to go into a spin. And at this point, we have lost contact with the ship. So
right, and even though the launch began successfully at 6:30 p.m. from SpaceX's Starbase in southern Texas, the upper stage encountered problems as it ascended and SpaceX lost contact, and then it exploded, becoming that fiery space debris you saw earlier. And the internet wasted no time absolutely trolling Elon Musk, with one user over on Blue Sky named Helen Kennedy saying, clearly, there's still too much diversity and inclusion at SpaceX. Another user on X writing, what isn't Elon Musk effing up these days? My God. And that in attachment to a post saying, breaking, the FAA is halting flights to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Orlando airports for space launch debris until at least 8 p.m. Eastern Time. To which someone else responded, seems inefficient, but my personal favorite trolling came from Aaron Rupar, who said, we are all in the debris field of a SpaceX mishap. And frankly, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I don't know what's more likely now, to get fired by Elon Musk or to get hit with his fiery balls of space debris. And sure, success can't come without failure, and I am happy that we are pioneering our way into the future of space exploration, like I said, but this whole move fast and break thing mentality really only works in certain spaces, and certainly not the federal fucking government. And just in case that wasn't enough roasting of Elon Musk for you, allow me to end this video with one more roasting moment from this week, courtesy of Jon Stewart.
Let's talk about Jon Stewart versus Elon Musk. Because if you didn't see, last week Elon tweeted that he'd be willing to talk to Jon on The Daily Show if the show airs unedited. And a lot of people were like, oh really? With The Daily Show account even responding they would be delighted to have him on. But then, last night, Jon taking to the desk to say he thought long and hard about the decision and...
But after thinking about his offer, I thought, you know, hey, that's actually how the in-studio interviews normally air, is unedited, so sure, we'd be delighted. As a matter of fact, let me sweeten or unsweeten the pot. The interview can be 15 minutes, it can be an hour, it can be 2 hours, whatever. I'll be honest, I don't think this network makes any other programming.
But he then did note that there would likely be some obstacles to the situation that Elon himself proposed. Because over the weekend, Elon took some shots at Jon, saying he is, quote, much more propagandist than it would seem. And on the same day he tweeted he would do a Daily Show interview, Elon also suggested that Jon was too set in his ways and not bipartisan enough to talk to. Right? And so it kind of felt like Elon was trying to leave the party before he even got there. And to that, you had Jon saying,
again, the guy who custom-made his own dark MAGA hat that he wears to opine in the Oval Office with the president who he spent $270 million to elect, thinks I'm just too partisan.
With him then going on to say that if, Elon wants to go on the show, great. If not, fine, but whatever happens, it should have nothing to do with Elon Musk pretending that he has standards of neutral discourse. All of which, resulted in a ton of headlines, people really grabbing onto the fact that this kind of serves as a formal offer to have Elon on The Daily Show, and that the ball is now in Elon's court to RSVP. Right, and all of this, of course, getting a ton of attention online, and while some seem pro-Elon, a lot of people were just calling Elon a coward, assuming that he'd be too scared to go on the show.
And personally, I would love to see Elon go on The Daily Show just to get roasted by Jon Stewart. But for now, we'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed that and billionaires getting taken down a peg, like I said, like the video, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to Really American for more stories like this. For Really American, I am Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you guys in the next one.